But I just started with that. And we have 14 companies. And if you do 14 in 10 minutes and divide that by 60, that is not quite 2 hours, it's a little over. So we're going to be quick. Everyone, this is my speech. Okay, so here we go. Good afternoon and welcome to the OEN Angel AOTech FastPitch. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kara Serrano. I'm the President and Executive Director of OEN, and it is really my pleasure to have you all joining us today, particularly all of you that I've spent 4 weeks online with. So I'd like to thank Riley O'Brien and Alex Gamboa. Grand round of applause for these members of our dynamic OEN team. And I would also like to ask if we have any OEN board members in the room. Could you please stand up? We've got 3. And speaking one online, sorry, we have 1 online person. So thanks to John Williams down in Aspen. All right, thank you, board members, Ann and Mike and Mary. For those of you who may not be familiar with this program, which I think everyone is here, so I'm not sure why you would be in the room if you were not, we refer to Angel AOTech as AOTech because we like acronyms. And this is a program designed to support early stage tech startups based in the region by offering them investment readiness, education, mentorship, connections with successful local entrepreneurs and the chance to receive an equity investment from a group of local angel investors, some of whom are in the room. 25 companies started with OEN the first week in April and have gone through a 4-week education series to determine if they were ready to pursue outside investment. So the teams you see pitching this evening have decided to take on that challenge, and they've been coached and practiced as well as to do financials to the angel or investors. So a big round of applause for all of you who have gone through the program and all of you who are going to stand up tonight. And now I get to ask Mary Cole to come up here because Mary and Sol Reeves are our evening's host, which I'm sure you can understand from one of their office. And she can say a few words.
All right, thanks, Kara. I'll be really brief, as I know everybody wants to get to the pitches. So welcome tonight. I'm a partner at Soul Reason Mary Hall. I work with startups and investors, been doing it for 25 years, and we are proud and honored to host this event and to support the startup community and hope everyone enjoys the evening. Thanks.
Mary told me she would be brief, and she did not disappoint. Thank you for the food, the wine, the space, the beautiful views, Mary. We appreciate Soul Reads. We also appreciate all of our other sponsors, including, do we need to read all these? Yes, I'm going to read them all. Okay. Aaron Messina, Business Oregon, Clementine Legal Corridor, Oregon State University, Perkins Cooley, Portland Seed Fund. We got Portland Seed Fund in the house. There we go. Woo! Come on, it's here. Congratulations. And Sophie had a award winner last night too. Like we love to give shout outs here. Rain Catalyst, Stage Bloggers, and Soul Reads. There are still sponsorship opportunities available. So please see Alex if you are interested. Next slide. All right. Here's our guidelines. So each company has 5 minutes to pitch. Riley is going to time you. Unlike the Zoom rooms, we cannot mute you when your 5 minutes are over. That would be weird and probably illegal. So we will just make a hand gesture and you will be done talking. So we will probably rudely interrupt you. Then there's going to be 5 minutes where folks in the room can ask questions in a due diligence type of process. We will also rudely interrupt them at the 5-minute mark so that everyone has 10 minutes. If you don't have 5 minutes of questions, that is fine. Applause will follow because that's the right thing to do, and you're all doing a very great thing. And then it's the next company's turn, which is going to be a super fast turnaround because you didn't add in those minutes in my math equation to walk up here, plug in your laptop, and start. So it's like 2 more minutes per person, so like another 15 minutes, like maybe 30. Okay, so real quick, a lot of you have practiced. This should work. Also, everyone in this room is an adult, so feel free to get up for food, drinks, or bio breaks. If you are not familiar with the space, the restrooms are outside these doors to your left, around the corner, both sides and side women, and I think the gentleman's restroom is on the side of the hall. Okay, and now we're going to start. I'm not going to read the order of events, because you're gonna see these folks, it's very exciting, I'm super proud of y'all. And Bitsy is gonna try and join us via Zoom, so we are gonna try to be technically savvy. And this may work and it may not work, so I will warn you in advance that I don't know if it's gonna be echoey, and if we blast out your eardrums, I apologize now, and we'll still figure out how to get the rest of the 50 done. All right.
Remember to mute yourself on Zoom.
Hi. Are y'all there?
Hey, yeah, hey, Mike's internet just went out. He just texted me, so he's doing a quick troubleshoot. Or do we still have a little bit of time?
Garrett, you wanna go?
You can go.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay, we're navigating through it, we're gonna put you back on mute, and we're gonna let somebody else go.
Beautiful. Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
So much. Awesome. Thank you.
Also, this is working in that sense.
That's good.
Okay, perfect.
You have to plug it in.
Oh, I have to plug this in.
Yeah.
Or I can stand here if you go. Everyone can hear me? Okay. So I'm fine to just stand here.
I'm gonna do that.
Tap.
I'll get out of your way.
All right.
Okay, transitions, good. Round of applause.
All right, nice to meet everyone. My name is Jared Murray. I'm the founder of AM, and we work with businesses to house their workforce at below market rates. So I'm sure all of you guys are familiar with the issues around housing. Thank goodness businesses are now aware of it as well, and they should be. We're losing about $1 trillion a year due to voluntary turnover, and that turnover is poorly based on cost of living, which housing plays a big role in. So they haven't been, kind of sitting on their hands. They're trying to solve it, but it's deeply outside of their bailiwick. They hate doing it, and it's a horrible experience. So I founded ANA. Housing as a benefit. We can work with any business to basically democratize housing benefits for their workforce. Housing is very tough. Today it's still very much a one-to-one connection. It's an antiquated process. It's riddled with all kinds of friction, and that just causes more price pretty much explosion. So what we've done is taken more or less of a group buying or kind of bulk sales approach. And what we've done really is, by building relationships with our customers, we have this captive audience of demand, and we leverage that to negotiate deals at scale with supply and inventory providers, developers. That, dramatically pushes the price down, and we're able to pass that price savings through to, our members, which are, employees, and our businesses love it. They love it so much, they pay us money. So much money that we actually believe in the next 6 to 7 years, we have the ability to generate over $100 million in ARR, annual recurring revenue. And we do that really through 2 products, our Ownership Plus and our network services. Ownership Plus allows businesses to buy into a pool of housing. We get a small transaction fee from that, and then get a future share of all the rents being paid. And network is similar. However, employees have the option to be placed into a pool of housing When they sign a lease, we get a small transaction fee, and there's some subscription revenue that comes with that. All in all, roughly 30 to 40,000 members equals about 100 million in revenue or more. So, all those deals that I talked about, we align interests perfectly with our customers through what we call a marketplace SaaS approach, where HR and finance teams can go into their portal, see those deals that we've structured, and then put them through to their employees so they can have autonomy over where they live and how they experience or go down that housing journey. So currently we're working with a handful of customers. We did a soft launch last month, April 10th. I housed 3 people. Yes, that's $3,000 in fee income and about $135 in subscription revenue. And we recently struck a strategic partnership with First Interstate Bank. Lots of fun things coming from that. And we're working a partnership with Amazon, and as of last week now, negotiating opportunity to make them a customer. So brass tacks, we're looking for $625,000 to really handle this short term in our roadmap. Acquire early adopter customers, how to manage the client experience, and really build up that next iteration of the product. And myself, background real estate development, structured finance. Done over $1.5 billion of real estate transactions and M&As myself. My number 2, HR benefits executive, deep experience in claim repricing and all things benefit related. And then our head of product is 20 years of engineering experience in highly technical healthcare adjudication software, stuff way outside of our realm of knowledge. So everyone always asks how big is the opportunity, and this is a tough one because we're really combining 2 of the world's largest assets, labor and housing, and we're monetizing them individually. They're multi-trillion-dollar markets, so I would say pick a number, more or less over 5 trillion. Refresh of capitalism. There's been a lot of critique of capitalism as of late, some rightfully earned. We believe that we can, reshape that narrative. Government has always been involved with housing, but today these initiatives are really picking up speed, and we feel that our solution could be a part of that zeitgeist. And lastly, we're dealing with secular changes within the economy, and deglobalization is really underway, and that just leads to the pendulum swinging more towards labor. So we feel that Anim is well positioned to take advantage of these tailwinds today. That's what I have.
Perfect.
Can't believe it.
What's the competitive landscape look like?
Yeah, great question. So right now, there really is no group in housing that's really, taking our approach of affordability and also kind of the B2B2C. There are lots of groups that are heavily weighted on experience, and B2C, but no one's really in our niche of the market.
Are you mostly focusing on new built housing, or are you looking to also do pre-existing housing?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. With our network product, we're able to align interests with property managers, landlords of existing products. So when those units turn over, they become pretty much, into our platform. But simultaneously, we're having conversations with, projects that could possibly be happening right outside this window, especially in this climate. They're looking at much higher rates, and risk is a real, issue for developers. They are not risk takers at all, having been one. That's why they're in real estate. So the short answer is that we look at both of those.
What's the value proposition for the provider of the rental units? So versus just going on the open market, what's the advantage for them going through you?
Yeah, so I mean, again, the developers, they're really, if I can say it quickly, all they care about is making sure that their financing is in place, right? All they want to do is build and go on to the next project. What we do is solve that vacancy risk for them with effectively people that we know have jobs, that their income is verified. We have all that information, and we can expedite the process for them. And because they're really dealing with a sophisticated partner at Annam, I'd like to say they're not dealing with a multitude of, housing or individuals with issues. They can contact Annam, and conversely, Annam can contact them back to say, hey, here's a problem in unit 2B.
Are you working with the player or larger organization, like a bulk, grant opportunity, or are you working with individual?
Yeah, so we go to kind of, as I like to say, top of funnel. We work with the corporations. Our smallest business that we work with has 12 employees. The largest business today that we're working with has 3,000, right? And because again, they hold all the demand, it's far easier. They're the best customer. What I like to tell people is, Jeff Bezos has a lot of money. Amazon has more. Jeff Bezos may have 5 homes. Amazon will need millions. Jeff Bezos may live to be 200 or something. Amazon will be around for 1,000 years. So, Amazon is categorically the better client. So that's who we go after.
Some of the competitors or the landscape that you showed are focusing on like really specific use cases. So like Sonder might help an employee that's, bi-coastal and needs, a location in multiple cities. Some of the old school like corporate relocation are, really just to help an employee get set up in a new city. Like where do you feel like Annam has the best product market fit? Like what employee journey are you solving for?
Yeah, 100%. So we have very intentionally solved or aiming to solve the true workforce employer. So these aren't people that are knowledge workers that have discretionary income. These are cashiers, these are lines people. These are the individuals that, the catch-all would be they cannot work from home and execute on their job, right? Like, a doctor or a high-paid doctor is really dealing more with a convenience issue as opposed to an affordability issue. So we work in the affordability space.
All right.
All the way from Medford, Oregon.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, we are the Oregon Entrepreneurs Network. Thank you for being here, Derek. Thank you for then hopping on a plane to get from around with us. Doesn't look like we have my. I'm trying to be empathetic and feel the stress of the entrepreneurs right now. All right, Iski, I think you're on screen. Can one of y'all talk?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes.
There we go, Kara, very good. So sorry, I'm in Mexico and the planning could have been worse for that internet to go out, so.
Okay, stop talking,
We're here.
your 5 minutes starts now.
Hi, we are Bisky. I'm Michael. I've worked scoping and building digital products at an agency these past few years.
I'm RJ. I work with video production the last 10 years and live streaming.
I'm Sebastian, I'm the tech lead of the project, and I've been working for the last 8 years building digital products.
Bisky is the personal wager platform. In the same way that Venmo revolutionized the way we do personal payments, we believe that we can revolutionize the way that we can hold each other accountable for skill-based wagers amongst friends. There's a lot of social aspects that I think Bisky helps solve problems for. I think one thing that's really interesting and important to us is that it helps take human interactions that are already happening, previously unreported, provides a platform. We use the sports betting market as our TAM, but in reality, we're kind of adding on to that, and not really probably taking money out of that market.
So less is more for us. Basically, we want our users to be able to use this as easy as possible. A user can propose a Bisky with their parameters, time limits. They can send it to their friend, whether it's in person with a QR code or someone that is elsewhere. The next person can accept it. And then the winner claims and the loser, accepts the loss. And there's also dispute flow we have in the works as well.
Something that's really important to us, is to monetize from day one. So, Bisky is free to use, put money into this, you can do as many Biskies as you want. And we take, what we think is a nominal and acceptable fee off when, you actually take that money back into your personal account.
So again, we want to keep our interfaces, as familiar as possible. A lot of these interfaces are going to resemble apps you've already seen, like Venmo or a Cash App. There's a Fund Your Vault with connected to your bank. There's a home feed where you can see live Biskies once they'll be completed. And we have user profiles that show your stats.
So as we enter the market, we're targeting people who are already doing these type of interactions, personal wagers, snow and skate, golf, and we believe gamers is our biggest market, whether it's grandma's playing backgammon or Call of Duty players. Our strategy is to come from the bottom up and try to really understand our users with real user data. And one thing that's interesting about Bisky is that every Bisky takes 2 to tango, and so it's going to drive downloads in that way.
So accountability is huge for us. We all have that friend that will want to make a wager with you, but when it's time to pay up, they seemingly don't have the funds to do so. And so we hold ourselves strong on that. And again, when you and someone accept a Bisky, both of your funds are taken out, relabeled, and held until the event is completed, and then the money gets redispersed to the winner.
So we've come a little ways. We're raised about $50,000 in friends and family. We believe we can get our MVP out in July. One thing I want to point out, one is that SaveOps is a partner and our lead developer, and we're also able to use our personal network of developers in Columbia for really efficient development. Once we launch, things need to scale, we need marketing and continuous development, which is why we're looking for more money. We think with this MVP, we have a pretty attainable goal with real revenue, and our real goal is to use user data to help determine the right pathways to go. We have a lot of ideas here you can see on the right, but we want to make sure that we are following usage and following the dollars. There are no direct competitors that we've been able to find that do exactly what we do. There are some people in the space. Really, we always say that our most direct competitors is just Venmo requests, which we all know get ignored quite a bit. These other groups, we're keeping an eye on them. Mostly they are working through odds and spreads, pro sports, things like that, whereas we are very open-ended and focusing from a legal standpoint in a very, very safe space of skill-based wagers, 1-to-1. And we're very proud of our team. 3 of us are here. Dan is our attorney. He focuses on this, so we're fortunate to have him. Matt's very passionate about the project. And we have a couple other developers as well. And that's Bisky, and we're looking forward to taking questions.
Good, because you were out of time. And I would have bet $5 that was not.
Why the name Bisky? What's the relevance?
We can do this answer, but risk the biscuit. So in the action sports world, we say risk the biscuit. And so we wanted a name that was unique, something that could be a vernacular like Venmo became, as well as something that we could have the .com, which we do. But it comes down to the concept of risking the biscuit.
What's your customer acquisition plan?
Great question. When we roll out the MVP, we're going to do unlimited use password protection on both Android and iOS. So what that'll let us do is target different groups of people and understand who is using the app. So for instance, RJ works with a lot of influencers who are stoked on the product. We give them a password, maybe just their name, and that way they can use it really freely in their groups. We also want to target closed social groups as we're testing this thing out. the worst thing I think that could happen with this would be that it blows up in some way, shape, or form, goes viral, and we're not ready for that. And so we want to be able to control and study the data as it comes through. Picture potentially like a frat. I went to USC, picture a frat at USC being a beta test group, and they would use it for their cornhole tournaments.
Can you guys hear me?
They
Yeah,
can't.
barely.
Through the mic.
Or just have them yell and you repeat it.
Just yell. All right here is cool. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. I may have missed it. How are you guys making money? Like, is it a percentage? Is it like per, bet?
Yeah. Very, very simple. So it's free to use to load money in. Biscues, unlimited use in between users for the biscues. And when you're ready to take your winnings out, we take a fee of 3% for normal day ACH transactions. So it's like a 2 to 3 day. Then a 5%, that 3%, a 5% transaction fee for instant transfers. And that's modeled after essentially credit cards for the 3%, and Venmo takes 5% for their instant transfer. So I think it's a number that the users are going to be pretty comfortable with.
Are there any legal issues you foresee with gambling?
Tons. So the past year before we got into development and technical due diligence, we were basically talking to everywhere we could find, trying to find a specialist. In my reading, ended up realizing a lot of the articles that were pertaining to what we're dealing with were all written by one guy who owned his own small law firm. So he's our attorney now. He's a gamer. He's very much into the concept. From the legal standpoint, there's these FanDuels and DraftKings and all these big players. We're focusing on at the very core, it's called basically backroom poker laws. And so we're able to operate in, I believe, 48 out of the 50 states off the bat. When a wager is between two people, and it's a skill-based nature, so meaning no odds of any kind, it's pretty clearly allowable in the US.
Thank y'all, round of applause.
Okay, I left my list with me. Okay, use necessities, and while we're waiting for Bill to get set up.
It's Paloma.
Oh, it's Paloma?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, it's Paloma.
Email that is different.
We pulled Annam up because he has to leave early.
Oh, I just looked at them.
Oh, okay.
We're figuring it out.
Okay.
So this will do.
All right. We're okay either way.
Okay, either way, I would just like to say hello. We have another board member in the room. You wave. Another OEM board member. Hello, thank you for being here. I'm Ryan. Always love to see you too.
Yeah, just unplug your computer. Cool. Awesome.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. We are Paloma. We are an early stage company seeking pre-seed investment to redefine the way we hire. So imagine if finding your dream job was as easy as swiping right.
The current hiring process is broken. We're in one of the tightest labor markets,
And companies are desperate to find good employees, yet there's so many of us who just even the thought of starting a job search makes us want to settle for a job that we're only mildly content with. We live in a world where we're being evaluated on our future potential based off of a piece of paper, which most people don't even know how to do well. And then we try to game the system by coming up with keywords that we think they want to see, or inflating our accomplishments on our resume, hoping that we can catch attention from someone who will take the time to meet with us. But the thing is that managers typically only spend about 6 to 10 seconds looking at a resume. And I don't know about you, but I cannot tell my whole story in 10 seconds. And so this whole process is time consuming, frustrating, and deflating. And frankly, we want more. So we conducted a survey of over 70 respondents, and we found that 55% of those who responded were not looking for a new position, but they would consider an amazing opportunity if it came up. So this shows us that there's this large portion of the market that's not talking to recruiters and not applying to positions, but they still know that there's something missing in their current role. So what if you could explore companies around you that you didn't even know existed? And what if they weren't evaluating you based off of your previous job titles or what you can fit on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper? And what if, I know it sounds crazy, but what if it could be fun?
Meet Paloma. We're a platform that enables you to swipe through company profiles in an easy and fun fashion. And at the same time, build your resume gradually to find the best matches, to ultimately find a company that aligns with you. No resume required.
So we're not like the rest, and we know there's a lot out there, but we're offering a better experience and a better fit. And we do that in 3 ways. First, it's through our confidential profiles. And yes, I mean confidential profiles for both job seekers and companies. I know it sounds wild, but we all make assumptions either consciously or unconsciously. Second, it's a match that's based on a holistic fit. Because yes, technical skills matter, but we all know there's more to us than just that. And last, we do all of this through a fun and seamless interface that transforms that dreaded job seeking process into a fun and experiential journey into finding who you are and finding a company that values you for what makes you unique.
So why is now the right time? We are at an intersection of 3 significant paradigm shifts. The world is becoming increasingly more digital. Employees feel more empowered, and they care about what companies stand for, their values, their purpose, their culture. And at the same time, we also know that millennials and Gen Z will make up a significant portion of the workforce over the next several years, which is something that we can't ignore.
Okay, so I know there's a lot of numbers. We are short on time, but our target market is companies 10 to 499 employees. We're going to start in Portland, and our plan is to move market by market across the US. Portland alone has over 13,000 companies in our target market and equates to over $42 million market. Across the US, it's a $4.4 billion market, and that's not even taking into account that the entire online recruiting industry is over 13 billion and growing.
So what's next? We are starting to test our product with 50 job seekers and 5 to 10 companies through a concierge service. We will need about $200,000 to develop our MVP and for initial marketing and business expenses. Next, we'll need $550,000 to really ramp up our marketing and sales and build that foundational team that is going to enable us to officially launch in March of 2024.
So to wrap things up, we know that we're really early. We know we have a long ways to go, but we also know that this is a problem and that we're the ones to do it. And we know that because we're standing here today, even after being told that we were not investment ready, because we're not willing to give up an opportunity to get feedback and to get ourselves out there. And that's it. So thank you.
How do you propose the holistic part of the match?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're starting our testing this month, and so a lot of it's going to be what works, what doesn't. But I know a big thing we've talked about is, asking questions, not just what do you like or what do you do, but really asking questions in a way to get to the root of what matters. So we do have more testing required to like get that, but again,
Yeah, questions around values, what those values mean, what they care about, what's really gonna bring meaning out of the work that they do. And so, yeah, a lot of questions around that to really get an understanding of who the person really is.
How much, employee interaction do you do with companies or clients, or is it all completely form-based?
we are going to have more of an inside sales model long term. So as we're doing our testing, we're going to be very, very hands-on. But the idea is that there will be scalability because it will be more of a self-service option. So again, that's why it's so important to us that we get the questions that we're asking right so that we can get the correct information to make the right match. Does that answer? Okay.
So a point was made about purpose-driven companies and the importance. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the work that I do currently at my organization is really research around generational differences within our workplace as it relates to belonging, inclusion, and we are recognizing more and more through our employee surveys that people care about the purpose of the company. And so we did, as an example, a lot of purpose work at our company a couple of years ago to really build out what that meant and what it means and how we're showing that in our day-to-day interactions.
Have you spoken to any existing job listing companies to see if they're working on anything similar?
I've talked with some startups that are doing something a little bit different. Like there's some that just search the web for specific traits and then they'll kind of like email blast everyone out there. I mean, I think there's companies that are doing things that are kind of similar, but I think what a lot of them are missing is that confidentiality. And I think that's really key because again, and I've worked in recruiting for the majority of my career. And I work with clients and candidates and I hear these assumptions that people make all the time. And I think that's kind of part of what's so frustrating is it's like I see these great companies and then I have these friends that are great people and that would make great employees, but like they can't find each other because everyone's making assumptions. Oh, that company, like I don't like that industry or I don't like their website or I'm not attracted to their job posting. So I don't think we've seen anyone that has the confidentiality and the fun. Like it doesn't have to be the stressful process. Like why?
What's the development plan of producing this app? Assuming you guys aren't developers.
Why would you think that?
There are two consultants consulting firms that we are speaking with currently to build our MVP and our platform. One of them is a sponsor of the event today. So we've had those conversations and have also taken some of what we've learned from the due diligence education session that we did a couple of weeks ago and really truly understand if that's the right way to go. But that's our plan.
But if you know anyone, then let us know. We're happy to take referrals still. So.
Take care. All right, that's it.
We're going to give a round of applause for their persistence, because I took them down and then they said, can we please come in? Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I'm impressed with like the sheer silence in the room during the awkward transition. I don't. Oh, John would like to sing. Would you have your fun? Sure, covering this. Right, let's go.
Hi, my name is, actually, can everyone hear me? No, that's not, am I projecting?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, my name is Bill Davis and I'm the founder and CEO of beachnecessities.com, forging the blue economy. For those of you who might not be familiar with the blue economy, It's an economic theme that's been developing over the last 6 or 7 years. And it looks at how we leverage marine and freshwater environments more sustainably to create value and generate long-term economic growth. Here in Oregon, we do not yet recognize the blue economy. California, Washington both do. The good news is, though, that Business Oregon, one of the sponsors of OEM, did a report, an emerging industries market analysis that was released in Q1 23. And they gave the blue economy about 25 pages worth of attention. So we're starting to get on the radar. People are starting to understand there's opportunity here. Who we are, beachnecessities.com. We're an e-commerce and beach content community site forging the online shopping experience for the $15 billion beach goods industry here in the US. We do this with an emphasis on sustainability, key, back to the blue economy. And we're doing that in the products that we carry, as well as protecting the health of the ocean, lakes, rivers, streams, due to the adverse impacts of climate change, overfishing, and plastic pollution. Again, the purpose-driven corporation. We fully believe that going forward, people want to work for companies trying to do the right thing. And we do this through our affiliation with 1% for the Planet. If you're not familiar with them, it's a spin out of Patagonia that helps other companies model their companies after Patagonia. The reason why we're doing that is that we believe purpose-driven companies doing the right thing is the right thing, but we think it'll be more profitable. We think we can drive more revenue, make more money. This survey was done, this was posted in Forbes back in 2020. It's a global survey that talks about how purpose-driven companies compared to their peers are much more successful on all metrics. So that's the path we're trying to follow. Our customers, at least for now, we're focused in the US. 330 million people in the US today. In what's defined as coastal watershed county, which is the counties bordering the coastlines. That's 10% of the landmass, 40% of the population lives in one of those counties. That's a great demographic. And that doesn't even take into account what's going on in the middle of the country, lakes, rivers, streams, Great Lakes, 20% of the world's fresh water. Great beaches there. I've surfed on the Great Lakes. So we have all these waterways and everyone who has this appreciation for it, and people are already buying beach gear. The difference is us in being focused on marine conservation, education, and science. So if we can build out our, move on. So globally, water covers 70% of the Earth's surface. International expansion will be robust once we get there. We're focused in the US right now. So e-commerce is an opportunity. I think we've all bought something online. It's not where it is in '94 when I got started. So last year in the US, $1 trillion was transacted online. That's out of a $7 trillion retail economy. So roughly 14%. We think in the next 10 to 15 years, that's going to go to 25, 30%. Now the growth rates are slowing. You know, we're not back in the late 90s, early 00s. But we do think that the growth, eventually this will become 25% of the retail economy online. Lastly, the key to bringing in customers into our marketing funnel is we want to build out the most comprehensive list of beaches on the internet for the US. So as people go searching for beaches, looking for vacation spots, they're going to come to us. They're going to find our site. They're going to get all the information they need. And as they find that, then we can push them over into the marketing funnel very gently. So again, it's for people doing planning, looking for vacations, just however they want to gather information. But the idea is that once they come in, we'll use this as an SEO. We don't have to keep paying the ad vendors, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and that we can bring them in. We can also generate a secondary ad stream revenue based on each beach. And we have a lot of capabilities we want to build into this. So thank you for your time and any questions.
What percentage of your retail offering do you aspire to be like sustainability focused products versus just items you might need if you're going to the beach?
Yeah, as much as we can get. So again, there's a lot of gray in there right now. The idea long term is to put a ranking on each product page So like a green, yellow, or red. And then we can start to, as we get bigger, we can start to migrate everything. Green is obviously as ideally as sustainable as we can be. Most likely to be mostly like half green, half yellows. Nothing's perfect, but we want to provide that transparency to consumers.
So where are you at in the development of the idea of the company?
Launched 2017, doing a little bit of a restart. Trying to buy a sun care company out of Florida. It peaked at $30 million in business. Couldn't raise the $1 million to acquire, so their former distributor did. So working, having to roll back. I was selling that during COVID. They had shut down, so we got all their excess inventory. So
So you actually have revenue?
Oh, yeah,
You're
yeah.
Selling, okay.
Yeah.
What is your revenue?
75K last year. Solopreneur right now. We're working on events tomorrow night with OEM founders looking for co-founders.
Yes.
Thank you, Newmark, for sponsoring.
Yep. Thank you, Michael. So I hand back there. Anybody? Okay.
What do you see as your biggest challenge as you relaunch?
Scaling. I mean, again, there is no one-stop shop for beach gear online. And no one focusing on the sustainable piece. I go to an annual trade show in Orlando. It's Surf Expo. I've been going for 5 years now. The industry is completely ignorant of what's going on. And just so everyone's aware, the ocean is under severe duress, as are our freshwater resources. 2021 through 2030 is the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. And it's because the world realizes we can't continue to trash the ocean in the way that we have been. It's the life source on the planet. So.
Should you just own those brands or what's kind of starting criteria for the brands?
Looking for a product. Yeah. Right now it's predominantly me and thinking of things that will fit well. One reason there's not a lot of women's swimwear is I don't think I'm the best person to be selecting that, just saying. And again, limitations on, I need to grow it to probably 18 to 20,000 SKUs. We're at 1,000 SKUs right now. So, and looking for things that we think will grab people's attention. Sustainable products, we have flip-flops that are made in New Zealand from recycled ocean plastics. Other flip-flops that are made from recycled tires in Indonesia. So we're looking to bring everyone's focus on sustainable products under one roof because no one's doing that, but also then start to bring our own products to market. So we want to be the Patagonia for the beach. So that's right, the summit.
Thank you. That's the next.
Outside?
Yeah, you are.
No.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, 20 minutes. Hey,
Yeah.
outside. I can't hear you, and I only had like one sip of wine. I think I'm just done for today. I'm like, I'm just gonna call a name. We're gonna add a new flavor. I'm just gonna call your name. If you're already gone, you get a second chance.
You did it.
Hi, I'm Tracy Camp. I'm the founder and CEO of Upside Security. I'll shout. So we build security that works for people. So we're a cybersecurity startup. And I'm joined tonight by my co-founder, Scott Slaws. And anyway, we worked together for a decade and a half and then some across a couple companies that you might have heard of. So we built a lot of what McAfee still sells today. And we went on to work at a company called Carbon Black, and we built a much of what they still sell. They got acquired by VMware. So we do security. That's kind of who we are. That's why you should listen to us. Anyway, so we have a little bit of a problem. So phishing today as a tactic, has a 4% click-through rate. So somebody sends this to a business, 4% of those people are going to click on it. And there's this little thing called ChatGPT that you might have heard about. This is kind of one of those big deal in technology moments. And they radically shift the economics of attacking businesses towards the attacker. So that 4% is going to, it's going to be astonishing. ChatGPT phishing on steroids. So we need to do something about that. So we'll play with it a little bit. You know, it's like, hey, write me this thing in the voice of Elon Musk, and you know, it happily does this. This is what ChatGPT is for. These kind of customer service scenarios. So you know, it will automate all of this. So you know, you're definitely going to see a lot more high fidelity deepfake phishing attacks, pretty much starting at the beginning of this year forward. And the automation is the key here. It really means the attacker can come 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for pennies. It really takes a lot of the labor on their part out of the business. And finally, phishing isn't really just for email. You know, businesses were moving on. You know, we were hiring younger workforce, and email is kind of what people my age did. And you know, so you have chat, you got search, you got social media. These things all are part of business communications now, and phishing comes in through all of these vectors. So we need a new strategy. So we're going to fight AI with AI. That's upside security. So how are we going to do that? Well, we have an AI world. So we're kind of like autocomplete for detecting attacks. So this kind of gets in the weeds of like what Slav and I do. But you know what we are doing is we have a piece of software that analyzes the billions of events that happen in your computing environment, and we select out the little pieces that are kind of interesting. You know, like this could mean an attack. It doesn't necessarily mean it is, but you know, it's a piece of the puzzle. And we put it together and we start building essentially sentences. And this is where our AI comes in. It is in fact a natural language processing AI model, which is exactly how like Google autocomplete works. And you know, it starts to predict the next step in that attack. And so when we start to see that, we know that you are in fact under attack. And because we've arranged these in a graph, that also gives us a really powerful ability to evict the attacker, which is a little bit different than like, oh yeah, we'll just stop it. You know, that doesn't really recognize the full complexity of how attacks actually happen anymore. Eviction is a little more complex. You actually have to keep the history of how they got there to get them actually out of your environment. And we're able to do that. So this has a lot of really good benefits, we believe. So to our customers, you know, average cost of a breach in 2022 is $4.3 million. That's a lot of money. So, you know, you want to avoid that right up front. So we can definitely help that. And a lot of the downstream consequences of a breach, you know, like ransomware, data extortion, you know, just having your business impacted, they go away. Evicting attackers, as I just mentioned, that's a unique capability we have, and it's seriously important because, you know, these attacks are going to be constant and continuous, and you can't just stop your business every single time it happens to clean up. So having that process be more automated on the defense side is equally important. And finally, you know, reducing staff demand. So one of the biggest failings, you know, like a lot of the security products that Slav and I have built over the years is that they require human capital and a very high level of technical expertise, and there are only so many people available on our planet to run them. So there's a real shortage of knowledge workers in the security industry. So reducing the load on those people is huge. So we think we can build a B2B SaaS business within 3 years with $40 million annual recurring revenue. There's a pretty large total addressable market in the security space. If you have a computer, and everyone here does, you know, you're potentially one of our customers. So we're looking to build, you know, a business that, you know, within 3 years is protecting at least 1 million endpoints. And based on our past history at Carbon Black, you know, we were pretty confident this is achievable. So we are looking at this point to raise between $3 and $5 million in seed funding, and we have a few specific goals with that. You know, we need to recruit some design partner customers, and you know, those are going to help us kind of take our MVP and mature that into something that's truly, you know, ready for scale as a business. And obviously, get our MVP out there, and you know, we hope to achieve 20,000 projected endpoints with the seed funding. And thank you.
Where are you at with an MVP then? You sort of, maybe you had something, but you want to develop it further. So like, yeah, like what do you have?
We have something that we can demo for you, and we'd like to make it deployable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Prototypes.
Yeah. It's more than a prototype. I don't do prototypes. I do things that work, but there's a lot more complexity between taking something that I can show you and making that a more deployable item.
So where are you plugging in the security? Is this a feature, a thing you're adding to AWS? or?
This is endpoints for the moment. So the general strategy that we employ, you can use this in multiple kind of computing contexts, but this is endpoint security software from the start because that's what we do. So this resides essentially on your laptop.
So our belief is that you should protect where it makes it protect. So when attacks happening on the endpoint, you want to protect the endpoint, get the data on the endpoint. When the attacks happen on the enterprise, then you need some analytics and some smarts on the backend running where it's collecting all the data from all the endpoints where the attack is happening. So that's why for the local, for the first version of the product we're pushing out, we're protecting the satellites to get financing. But for later versions, we are envisioning analytics which can actually be much larger language model that can actually collect all the data from all different endpoints.
When you say endpoint.
The device.
So it seems, with this industry, Windows machines, Mac machines are the thing that's going away, and it's the thing we have in our pocket that's.
There's 1.7 billion Windows devices today, so they're not going away too fast.
I'm really challenged to go to any doctor's office or veterinary or attorney or any small business and not see Windows. I mean, there is Macs, yeah, but predominantly the reason we're doing this is not because we're actually very expert in Windows, but this is where part.
I'm a huge cybersecurity nerd, so I'd love to talk to you after.
I already have my gear.
Do you own 100% of your software?
Yes.
What are you selling it for?
We're looking between $30 and $40 a year annual subscription for protected endpoint. That was on a slide, so I had to, 5 minutes, right? Sure. I'm sorry? World domination. That's the future. I mean, somebody will either acquire us or we'll go public or we'll stay private. I mean, it's one of those three.
Are you guys currently working the same sort of potential fire?
No,
Not yet.
not planning it.
How do you know you're not a robot?
You don't.
You don't. That's the point.
Good, all right. Hey, Randall.
Great questions. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, there's food. Aaron, good to see you too. Yes, after Madato is Explorer Enterprises 5 is ready to go. You can even move closer now.
Oh, there's a handheld one. That was probably, there's a handheld mic. Oh, yeah. It's over here. Okay.
Thanks. Perfect. I'm Carol Robinson. I am CEO and founder of Madato Health. And we are a SaaS software company focused on health data privacy. So over $35 billion has been invested by the US government into digitizing all of our medical records. This has happened over the past decade and a half. And in fact, now that 98% of hospitals and over 80% of medical practices have an electronic health record system of some sort, now the government expects providers to share that data with other providers for care coordination and other purposes. In fact,
hospitals and a lot of health care organizations do share our data with a lot of other organizations. So you think your data is protected by HIPAA? Sometimes is the answer to that. And when you are given a choice, it's all in or all out in terms of data sharing. And so there's trade-offs on both sides of that coin. You know, if you say, I'm going to opt out of anyone being able to see my data through a health information exchange, whether that be point to point or in a statewide exchange or regional exchange that many places have, here in Portland, but you have some risks to your care and won't be coordinated. It likely will have missing elements or pieces that your providers can't see. And if you do choose to share all your data or are required to for some types of social needs programs, you may be at risk for harassment, for embarrassment, and bottom line, both of those sides of the coin are missing trust and missing agency. So what problems are we trying to solve at Medaro Health? We are trying to make sure that privacy is not a one-size-fits-all firewall, and we're also really trying to give individuals agency over how their data is shared and used. There's other value creations from our product, including efficiencies, trust, and ensuring compliance, reducing liability risk for provider organizations. Our product is market ready now, and in fact, we are beginning to implement with our first customers. We offer the ability to choose who views your data, for what purposes, for how long, and you can revoke or revise consents that have been given in the past. And we also have other digital forms that we support. We have an experienced leadership team. Myself, I was state coordinator for health IT with the Oregon Health Care Authority for 3.5 years under Governors Lewandowski and Gutshopper before I started my own consulting firm, which is now 10 years old. My team members have worked with and for some of these, or all of these organizations, and then some, I should say. We have a technically superior solution to anything else that's on the market to date, with critical advantages that stem from our use of fast health internet resources, FHIR APIs, and an infinitely scalable model that's built on AWS serverless architecture with user-based hierarchy. We have an extensive network. It's been said that I have the best Rolodex in health IT, and I'm proud of that. We also have early traction. And that when I say traction, I mean traction, because we have been named as the technical solution for Washington's statewide e-health consent management solution. We're also being implemented with a pilot at Healthy Nevada statewide in HIE and in the Bronx. Now I know this slide is silly, and so I just say I'm just going to link to an image, but the addressable market is so huge that I can tell you how we are prioritizing our sales and outreach to companies. But healthcare data and healthcare data companies are everywhere, and they need our product, which is the right solution at the right time. AWS, head of state government sales, has said this is the best product on the market, bar none. They actually went to bat for us in Washington State. The opioid crisis is driving a need, as well as jobs decision, and a whole lot of other reasons why healthcare and human services data needs to be protected. We're looking for $1 million in seed funding, and we will use it well. All right. Yes.
So who pays for your survey?
Who pays? Well, in the first case is the state through the Medicaid agency, and so that's a mix of federal and state match money, and they are doing this because they see the need across all of their agencies and plan to expand it, that they being Washington State Healthcare Human Services Coalition of Agencies. Now, in other cases, we believe that this is a value add for providers by lowering liability and risks and increasing compliance. A number of states have added privacy protections and are passing new laws around health data privacy. And so it's getting more and more complex for any business that's working or healthcare organization that's working in multiple states. And we can help solve that with our professional services expertise and our solution. Yes.
Are you going for like, Kaiser type level of integration?
You bet. Absolutely. We'd love to have Kaiser as a business, as a customer. Absolutely. Our product is completely scalable, and that's really at the heart of its design. We did a version 1 back in 2017, and we actually piloted it in Pennsylvania with UPMC Medical Center and the Psychological Association. And we did not commercialize that because it wouldn't scale to the point where consent needs to be a discoverable form by whether you're at Kaiser facility, Providence facility, or up at on the Hill for OHSU. They need to be able to know what your choices have been in terms of how your data is shared and used.
So you started talking with Kaiser?
In fact, I have had some conversations with Kaiser, and I have good relationships with some of the Kaiser executives down in Oakland and area, and they are aware of what we're doing. Yes. Okay, that's a great question. So we don't ingest clinical data other than if an individual has filled out an assessment form or a health history, we would have that data, but we're not trying to replace an electronic health record system, nor are we trying to be a personal health record system. We are kind of the broker in the middle. And so we can ingest the demographic data from any kind of system into a master patient index, and then do the patient matching or person matching with that and provide the answer to the provider who can query, can I share this person's record? So it's a discoverability. We can also automate this off of a scheduling system to deliver the answers. You have consent for all these patients that are visiting your clinic tomorrow or next week. And so we can do it either way. Yes.
Are these large health systems ready to integrate with APIs? I know you mentioned that.
Such a great question. So getting closer and better. On one of my slides in terms of one of our critical advantages is that we are so advanced with our APIs, and I'm very proud of this, that we are ready when EHR systems, and they will at some point, be able to put accurate security and privacy data tags on whether, it's your blood pressure, medicine you took, or, something that was in a record from a psychologist. Right now, most systems can't do that. And so, the API level is going to be at a bulk level with less granularity over those individual data types. But yes, they can do that. And yes, they have to be able to do that to be certified as EHR systems. The APIs are being required now by the Office of the National Coordinator, not at the granular level. So that's why we say purpose, timeframe, person, and more control over revocation and removal.
Now we're getting people up and on deck.
Nice.
Learning. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Todd Williams, and I'm the founder of Explore Enterprises. And our focus is managing data using artificial intelligence as a marketplace solution for camps, schools, and sports organizations. So what's the problem? Today, if you're an activity provider, and you're probably a nonprofit or a government institution, you might not have the most tech-savvy workforce. Oftentimes, it's volunteer-based, so there's a high turnover rate, and you're having to filter through information from thousands of participants. Think your local YMCA, think your local high school, anything like that. If you're a parent in the room and you have a child, you're probably familiar with the frustration of trying to sign your kid up online, filter through hundreds of different forms, continually do different ones for different types of providers, whether it's a sports team or something else in your area, and it's a big headache when you're coming home from a long day at work. So what's the solution? We leverage machine learning to save the providers 6 hours every single week. We've already rolled out, the product is live and in the markets. For parents, our average time is 2 minutes and 7 seconds for a registration. So we've done over 10,000 registrations. That is the average registration time that we're seeing for parents. And that is what we're tracking as far as using an artificial intelligence system so that you can put in the information one time as a parent and then apply it to multiple different types of providers. Our record is 48 seconds. So we've seen a parent basically do it in that amount of time. It's on the go, it's mobile, it's a touch of a button. And so especially that mobile capability, that is another thing that really differentiates us from any other competitor in the market. There's one or two others in the space as far as with mobile capabilities, but they don't have nearly the back-end system capabilities when it comes to the machine learning and the artificial intelligence or the providers. They can't crunch the data and the information. They can't protect the HIPAA forms for all of the health information for the summer camps, and they just can't do it as far as report generation for the attendance of those kids. The market today is over $30 billion in the United States. That's for your local sports teams, summer camps, etc. And they're spending $13 billion on registration management systems, registration management personnel, etc. And our focus is on medium-sized providers. That's because they present a diverse opportunity to us as far as investment time on the sales cycle. Looking at our business model today, our focus is on the product that is launched in the markets, and that is basically B2C. So the organizations are paying us a subscription amount between $850 to $2,000 a month, every single month, to manage all of the registration for them on the back end. As we continue to grow, there's opportunity in the B2C space, basically bringing subscription to parents, giving them opportunities just like Amazon Prime to bulk register for multiple different programs at once, or register early, because I know the parents, on-time registration, when it's open, am I going to get the spot, is a huge concern. And then finally, so there's opportunities for us for affiliate marketing as well as insurance policies, parent buying, cancellation insurance, liability insurance, health insurance for the program. These are just a few of our customers across the different spaces. So it is, I think on one slide, basically our products, Camps Easy, Teams Easy, and Activity Easy. It's the same underlying engine on all three. It's just the branding play for the specific market vertical. And so we deal with summer camps, Tiger lacrosse, sports, teams, and then Chess with Success is an after school program for chess in about 80 different schools. Looking at our strategy as far as customer acquisition, at the moment, our focus is basically direct contacts, cold calling, cold email messaging. When we are calling these clients, this is a big decision for them. It is a large amount of their organization. We are handling the payments, we're doing accounting for them. And so building a trusted relationship by one-on-one contact, understanding their pain points, and managing through that. Right now, our client acquisition cost is about $765, and we make that up as soon as they're onboarded and they pay an onboarding fee. Looking at our customers, this is our growth in the last year, and we're really happy about basically the direct, basically people recognizing our name brands, understanding where to go, and coming directly to our website compared to referral through our partner websites. This is our team. My background is in engineering. I used to work at Nike, built basically a software inventory management system for them. And then just a really awesome team from the sales side, as well as engineering and accounting. So looking at our competitors, it's a completely exhaustive list. Some people might be familiar with Sawyer, and there's one or two others. So basically, when it comes to our value proposition, which is make it simple, make it easy, and make it we do, and the mobile capabilities are severely lacking in all these spaces. Currently, we're looking to raise an additional $1 million. Our goal is to be on the Amazon.com of camps and activities.
All right.
For the organizers, are they moving on something you're already paying for, or are they?
Yeah, correct. Around 90% have a back-end data system, but the capabilities as far as front end, the user interfaces are often out of date. Some of the competitors were started in the early 2000s when the internet just started, and their only goal was payment online, which is part of the frustration for parents. And the camps have just not adapted, or the activities don't have bandwidth to apparently assess how to fix the problem. Correct.
So Tracker's big camp in Portland, why would they want to switch to your plan?
Yeah, basically they'll be investing a lot of time and money and resources into trying to build out the capabilities themselves that we already have pre-built, from a ease of use for the customer, as well as the basically accessibility on the go, be able to input your information directly in the mobile, like to build all this software, which is took about 18 months, and then to continue to maintain it is extremely expensive for these locations to try to do by themselves.
Any more questions? Oh, I have one. How much money has gone into the company thus far?
Yeah, so the big group is 450,000.
Do you see the platform being used to change other markets? Like other types of registration?
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of as far as how we're structured, as far as for enterprises and kind of our product lines. We definitely have capabilities when it comes to just like college registration, school registration, basically any events, concert registration even perhaps, but basically the system, the underlying architecture can work for anything.
All right, nice job. I think you all like are whispering to each other. So. All right, ready, everyone? Ready?
My name is Louis. I'm the CEO and founder of Fozio. At Fozio, we are enabling smaller augmented reality glasses with a better image quality. Augmented reality is that's going to be the next big thing after cell phones. Big tech companies, they are pouring money into this market, but the market adoption has been very slow. There are two reasons. On the software side, there is no killer app. We let ChatGPT solve that problem, but on the hardware side, these devices are heavy and bulky and provide a terrible image quality. What end user wants is this: small glasses, high quality image. And the reason that those guys can't make that kind of glasses is the display unit. It's not efficient, and they need to make everything bigger to make up for that. The display unit is simply made of a piece of glass and a nano pattern coating. The high quality glasses, they are already in the market, but the coating companies, they are lagging behind. They cannot make high quality coatings because they are using plastic coating or organic coatings. What Fozio is offering is a resin that it can be used to make those coatings. The coatings, they're going to be glass, high quality, suitable for these augmented reality applications. With our coatings, they can make devices that are 40% lighter, at the same time provide a better image quality. The resin and the process for making those nano patterns they've been already patented, and we're gonna make more patents around those technologies. We have a platform technology with application in different markets. We picked augmented reality based on 235 customer discovery interviews. We realized they have the most urgent need, and we started with AR, and we're going to grow into the other markets. We are in a optical coding market. That's about $14 billion. We calculated our SAM based on the number of units being sold each year, and the fact those guys are paying $10 per unit for coding. It's about $80 million. That would bring Ozio a revenue of $50 million in 27. We are a B2B type of business, and we envision the company to sell our resin directly to AR manufacturer like Microsoft, Magic Leap, Music, and Meta. As a matter of fact, this morning I just closed a deal with one of those guys. And eventually, when the numbers are getting higher and higher, we'll go to contract manufacturer. These resins are expensive, $6,000 per liter, and with a profit margin of at least 80%. In terms of competition, there are two different types of coatings in the market right now. Deep plastic or organic coatings, companies like Mitsubishi or Hitachi, they're using that. As I said, they are low performance. They are not very durable. They get yellow over time because they are plastic, but they are cheap. Then there is a new version, Incron and Celgene. They are mixing glass nanoparticles with polymers to improve the performance, but they are not durable and they are expensive. We are the only company that is providing glass coatings. They never go yellow and at reasonable price. We are a team out of Oregon State University, all PhD in chemistry. We met in 2014 and done some projects together. Doug Kessler is #1 and nationally recognized in this field, and he's famous in Oregon. He founded a few startup companies. The recent one in Korea, the one that just sold for $550 million. And right now, we have a pre-seed round open to set up our pilot and engage our first customer. Then we're gonna scale up in 24 and put our high volume manufacturing here in Oregon in 26. We're looking for 500K, 350 already filled, and I'm not gonna say no if you raise more than that. Thank you.
Yeah. So how much of your work is in the manufacturing process of training, or are you just looking to provide a revenue?
So we're gonna start with providing the revenue, but eventually we understand since we are gonna be the only provider, we're gonna make the display because we can just go to shop and buy the glass and just make the display and sell it to those guys.
So you're looking to manufacture the display and sell it to
Meta, Microsoft, yes.
You already have a prototype?
Yes.
Why didn't you bring
It would be very complicated and.
Time limit.
Yeah. So what happens is we are first in the market and we are building a wall around the technology. Doug Kessler did similar stuff in Korea. So he's going to help us to build a wall, and hopefully those people, they don't have the right to copy that. What happened to in Korea is actually very interesting because in Korea, it's the same thing. They helped semiconductor industry to move from organic, low resolution photoresist to inorganic. Doug Kessler has seen that movie before, and he's going to help us to do the same thing with optics industry.
quickly explain why inorganic's better than the organic polymer again?
Yes, there's something called, which is, there's something. Alright, so it's all about refractive index. The refractive index of inorganic compounds is higher than anything else. When the refractive index goes high, the device are more efficient and you can bend the light more so you can provide the user with a bigger field of view. If you're not familiar with bigger field of view, it's like looking outside from a window. You want the window to be big, yeah. And why they did not do that in the past? Because have you heard of any company that makes glass at room temperature? This is what we're doing.
So, sorry, so you're creating a coating for glass, but the industry is currently mostly shipping plastic.
So they put plastic coating on glass.
Okay, so you're coating with your, okay, I got
Thank you.
And you came all the way from Corvallis, right? So see, we've got Corvallis represented here, and I think we're about to get Eugene.
I'm before Valentine.
Okay, we've got a Corvallis combo.
You should know.
Okay, providing backup.
Hello. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah, ready.
Go for it.
Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing tonight? Good. Good. How many of you have donated to a nonprofit? Oh, wow, full house. And how many of you rode a horse to the pitch here today? Well, I'm not surprised, but did you know that the grant application process hasn't really changed since the 1800s? Now, that means we're stuck with a boring, inefficient system that hasn't changed since the invention of the Model T. You might have tried to apply for a grant. It's an intense, laborious process that takes 25 hours or more, has you stressing and tearing your hairs out, and has led to over a third of nonprofits in the United States facing potential bankruptcy unless something changes now. But don't take my word for it. Let me introduce you to Michelle, one of our customers. Michelle is a grant writer at the nonprofit Heritage, and she has experience writing for over 3 nonprofits in 8 years. You might think, oh wow, she really likes writing grants. You must not have written a grant. She really hates it. She's tearing her hair out because she has to make grants that meet all the criteria. In fact, with some grants like SDR and the government, over a third of grant applications are rejected due to checking off the wrong box. You're the people with the resume presenting. Oftentimes that's being read through machine learning stuff, and then you're not even getting it. You're getting placed into the reject pile by a computer, not even by a human. So, introducing Grant Machine. We're like Grammarly or ChatGPT for grants. We trained off of multiple different grant verticals, so think different grant types, so that we can give you the best possible answers to these grant application questions. We can make your answers look like they were written by a professional grant writer for whatever vertical you're in. And now we're charging $800 a year. I've had mixed reactions to that price. Some people, their eyes get big, they're like $800 a year. How could you charge that much? Well, we offer a 3-month free trial. Do you know why? We want you to get your first grant, Boost Change Finder, without paying us a single penny, just like our friends at the Whittier Community Market did for $8,000. And that offer is available to every startup here. It's a great form of non-dilutive funding for your startup. So how does Grant Machine work? We'll recognize what type of grant you're applying for, and we'll determine and train you a custom model to best fit that grant application based off of not only past grant applications that are successful, but all of the grant applications that you have done. So we are efficient and automated. We are not doing what our other competitors are and just using ChatGPT. We're really personalized just for you. So in terms of competition, a lot of these are boutique grant writing agencies that charge a premium and take a really long time. Or there's companies like Grantly or Grantable, which is very general and will offer you like 5 different types of grants. You have a happy grant, you have a sad grant. We're very focused on actual success rates, and we're focused on ensuring that we're matching you with the right type of grant application that you're applying for. It's a pretty large market. 10% of companies in the United States are nonprofits, and we're targeting these nonprofits with $1 million plus in annual revenue, which is around 8% of them. So think United Way, Boys and Girls Club, NAACP, and Girl Scouts. We're going to be reaching out to affiliate partners, in-person events like this one, reaching out to me for a free trial, influencers, and paid advertising. Sweet. And by year 3, we predict that we will be profitable. We already have 12 people who are actively using, and we've raised $5,000 in Change Finder, in grants for Change Finder by using Change Finder. So we know we work. We know we work these. We used ourselves. We used it ourselves. We also have $7,000 in revenue from customers, and we're attending wonderful accelerators and pitch events like these. There we are. You know, this is the work I might do for me in comedy, so. Yes?
So where are you at in the product development phase? You've used it on yourself, but is it launched?
Yeah, so we're actively have beta testers. One of our people who received $8,000 Whitaker Community Market received an $8,000 grant by using our software. We've received a $5,000 grant by using our software, and I'm the programmer, so I know exactly what's in store. We have a really cool launch.
So it's like in beta.
Yeah.
Is it available for other people to try it or not?
That's why I'm offered, right? Do you want free content? Send me an email.
Right now.
Yes.
What's the current grant success rate for submission, and what's the current success grant rate for your fund?
We need more data on that, unfortunately. It's a very hard thing to determine because it's like, well, this could have gotten successful if it was submitted through Change Finder or not. But so far, it's really increased the amount of time spent has increased. Decreased the amount of time spent on applications, and also people who have never submitted a grant before have gotten grants. So yeah.
Is your tool focused on finding giving grants or writing the grants response?
Currently, it's focused on writing the grants response, and I'm going to go into a little bit of the cool nerdy tech stuff. We're actually able to upload past grants that you've done before, and you might be a huge, large nonprofit. You might not know everything you've done, and we're going to store that in a database so we can actually pull relevant information that you might not even know to answer grant questions.
I don't know them. I've never actually met Harry, and we've never done that presentation together. But I was asked to spend $800 a month to have a part-time grant writer on staff. So I'm just like, yes, I would like to do it.
Well, the long endorsement from our very own.
It's done. It's okay. All right. I'll give it to Karen. Harry, we work together. Thank you. Ready? Ready? Go for it.
Hello, my name is Dan Sperring, and I'm the founder of Align Software. And we help B2B go-to-market teams better know their customers. In terms of the problem that we're focused on solving, it's one of inefficient growth. And so today, poor customer insights result in the companies wasting money targeting and selling to the wrong prospects. The difference between your average software company and the exceptional software companies really boils down to one thing, which is their ability to retain and expand those customer relationships. And so within any software customer, or any software company, there's a combination of great fit customers as well as poor fit customers. The poor fit customers actually slow the organization down, whereas the best fit customers actually accelerate growth. They do this through renewing, expanding, and driving inbound demand. During our early access program, what we've learned is that for your typical B2B SaaS organization, less than 30% of customers are actually representative of the best fit customers. And then in addition to that, less than 30% of the leads are also representative of that same profile. So what's missing today is a lack of understanding of the customer mix, and we believe the mix matters. And so the problem that we're really focused on in terms of our unique perspective is inefficient growth. Efficient growth starts with a shared understanding of ideal customer profiles. And so today, Align is a technology-enabled service. We have a UI that clients can log into, set up an account, and then connect their CRMs. Once the CRM is connected, we effectively do segmentation analysis. We look for trends with affected customers. In particular, we're looking for things like average deal size, win rates, all things that help our clients understand where they're having the most success. As we define those affected customers, we share our learnings with our clients to give them a better understanding of where they're having the most success. You may be wondering, who is our ICP? We're focused on helping our B2B SaaS companies of around 12,000 of them in the United States. And particularly, we're helping the product marketers automate the laborious task of doing customer research, which is really difficult today. Once we have a shared understanding of best fit customers, we partner with our clients to build go-to-market dashboards so that we can give each member of the go-to-market team a shared understanding and help them execute their piece of the overall go-to-market strategy. In terms of our monetization, we charge around $50,000 in a mixture of today's mostly services, but in the future will be technology and services. In terms of our value proposition and what we're selling against, it really boils down to two things. One is helping our clients drive faster, more efficient growth. And so we're hinging this on an increased or better win rate with better quality revenue that we know will be retained and expanded over time. In terms of our team, there's 3 of us working on this today. I have a deep experience in go-to-market strategy. I spent the last 20 years in sales, marketing, and customer success. Kermit in the back is an expert when it comes to bridging design and engineering. And then finally, Clark up in Canada, his expertise is really on scaling and running technical organizations and really strong in terms of operational excellence. In terms of the general market, there's a massive amount of changing taking place in the go-to-market tech stack. And so there's an article published recently about AI and product-led growth and how that's foundationally changing the market. In the article, they talked about 46 companies that are positioned to be disruptors. And we were very, very fortunate to be recognized as one of those 46 companies. In terms of why invest in Align, it starts by looking at the market opportunity. There's huge changes taking place. In terms of our team, we have experience building and scaling SaaS companies. And as you start to look at the market that's coalescing, there's 4 companies that have raised around $30 million over the last several years, all focused on solving the same problem. What we're doing that is unique is really focusing on solving a small piece of the overarching problem, which we believe to be the most strategic. And so during our early access program, as we work with clients, what's become very clear is as we talk about ideal customer profile, we're done. Go ahead.
Customer, you could even recommend what their ICP should be, even if they don't, even if they're really early. And it's like you're not integrating with this or any other, they don't have them.
So great question. So during our early access program, what has become really clear is that in situations where clients have less than 300 customers, we find ourselves in situations where we run into a problem with small numbers. So as a segment, we end up with these what I call statistically insignificant groupings. And so we definitely need to be working with larger organizations with probably more than 300 customers.
I think you said that a lot of what you do right now is like consulting, but you're gonna make that more like a technology product. So like where you're at with the technology versus the consulting.
Sure. And so as of today, we have a UI that clients can log into, and they can create an account and then connect their CRM. And so what we're currently working on prioritizing is the analysis, both data integration. And so we will have the first version of the automated analysis ready in the next few weeks. I think there was one more question.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I know people are doing time math. Got 4 more companies. We are gonna go a little over, we understand if there's half to leave, but there's also a lot to come in. There's sustenance over there, and I encourage you to have some. And now we have an entrepreneur from Bend. Not that I'm not proud of all the people from Portland that made it downtown, but I'm just like really inspired by folks that grew up from other parts of the state. All right, you ready? All right, Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jesse, and today I'm talking about Stockpile, an app that allows you to inventory your home in minutes. This is a photo of a family home in Napa Valley. Over the years, we received many fire evacuation warnings. In 2017, the Atlas fire destroyed our home. This is a photo of my dad and brother on site assessing the damages, and we lost everything during this fire. Us, like many others, did not have a detailed home inventory. The problem is, inventory is difficult to track and update. It's a tedious and time-consuming process. Insurance claims require a detailed amount of information to submit the claim. So they require receipts and photos, many of the things we don't have over the past 10 years or so. And right now, no easy way exists to inventory your possessions and submit claims directly to insurance companies. In 2019, an estimated $6 billion of insurance losses went unclaimed due to lack of documentation. The solution we found is an app where users can easily inventory their home in minutes and submit it to an insurance claim all in one. So 3 steps: record, log, and access. Here's a demo. Users can choose the house location, choose the room, and begin recording their video. It uses voice to text, so you can provide more descriptive information in the room. Then it uses object recognition to categorize every item within it, which you can easily access within your app. Let's say you had a break-in and there is one room that they stole, or a fire that happened in your kitchen. You will easily be able to access those items and submit it to an inventory. We're using the latest technology in object recognition and voice to text. We believe there's a $200 million a year business here because
with the assumption of 4% of homeowners paying $5 per month to use this inventory service. We also believe there's an opportunity for insurance companies to subsidize it. Our business model is largely focused on business to insurance companies and partnering with them, offering insured homeowners $5 a month add-on fee to use Stockpile. There are other opportunities too, business to business, small businesses, and partnering with retailers to offer discounts based on users' inventory data. And then, of course, the business to consumer model. The biggest competitors in this market are Xactimate and Stability. The users are largely professionals, so insurance companies and claim adjusters. We're taking a different approach in targeting consumers. I've worked in startups for 10 years as the right hand to founders and CEOs, so really the first hire, non-engineer hire, making things happen operationalized. We're raising $1 million to get an MVP in the market. Right now, I'm looking for a technical co-founder and 2 engineers to build the MVP. We think we can partner with insurance companies to reach 10,000 inventories in 12 months and get 5,000 paying customers in 12 months. Thank you.
So what's your customer acquisition strategy?
Yeah, our customer acquisition strategy is working with, partnering with insurance companies, to get existing customers to use Stockpile. So they could use it as an add-on, or also claims adjusters. There's 365,000 in the US, and they're paid a salary between 40 to 100,000 a year. So this could simplify their job.
So from an insurance company's perspective, they would probably not want to have a detailed inventory because they can find ways to avoid incurring costs.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
what's the incentive for them?
The incentive is that they are paying claims adjusters full-time salary jobs right now, 365,000 of them, full-time salaries between 40 to 100,000 a year to do these adjustments. So we think that it would save them a lot of money in paying for their employees. Sorry, it's very straightforward.
Great. Well, thank you, Jesse. Jesse, you're saying for tomorrow night too?
I think so, yeah.
Co-founders, send them in our direction. Yeah.
There you go. Y'all ready?
Right.
You're on.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nicholas Robert. I'm the CEO and founder of SecureMac. We create security and privacy software to protect Apple Macintosh computers. The global cybersecurity market generated $262 billion in spend last year. And that number is set to nearly double by 2025. And Apple Mac security is going to play a big part of that due to Apple's explosive growth. Apple last year did $40 billion in new Mac sales. That's a 14.4 year-over-year increase. That means there's a lot of Macs going online that need protection. And the idea that Macs are secure out of the box is a myth. In fact, Apple's own Craig Federighi came out and said, the amount of malware for the Mac is unacceptable. In 2020, we saw malware threats targeting Macs skyrocket, averaging over 1,800 threats a day. That's where we come in. SecureMac is unique in a way that we are a 20-year-old company, but we didn't start out as a software company. We started out as an information security news site. Over the last couple of years, in 2016, we launched MaxScan. MaxScan is our security and privacy software that detects, isolates, and removes malware. This software has only been sold on our website. We currently have 9,000 active users with an 83% retention rate. I said we have only sold this software on our website, but because of recent changes, it's now open the opportunity for us to submit our software to the Mac App Store to reach the hundreds of millions of users who know and trust Apple's App Store interface. There's a lot of companies out there that we're like, but unlike them, we're 100% focused on the Mac experience. Our developers are Mac developers, and our researchers are hunting the threats that affect the Mac. And out of all these guys, none of them are in the Mac App Store. We plan on being the first. Right now, we're looking for an initial funding of $1.5 million to lay the groundwork for our app in the Mac App Store. We're going to use the funds for developers, for malware researchers, advertising and marketing, operations, and of course, customer support to deal with the demand of the new influx of Mac users. We're going to use the momentum from the Mac App Store to lay the groundwork for our next generation software, as well as deploy government versions, enterprise, and healthcare versions. Currently, MaxScan 3 and MaxScan 4 are consumer-based products, but we're looking to expand our portfolio there. We have a great team behind us. Israel Torres is our principal lead malware engineer. He has over 20 years of experience in cybersecurity. He is a true hacker. He knows how to reverse engineer, and he loves what he does. Our lead software developer has over 20 years of experience, and he came to us from the enterprise security market space. We have a couple of great advisors on our team. Russ Rogers over here, he has worked for those three-letter agencies. He's helping ensure that we dot our I's and cross our T's so all of our government requirements are met along the way. And we plan on expanding internationally. Currently, we're only focused on the US market, but Mike is helping with our expansion overseas. And to get us to this point, Joe Marin has stepped in to help expand and ready us for this opportunity we have ahead. Thank you guys.
How many malwares have you detected?
How many malwares? Our company has found 2 unique pieces of malware. We were the first to detect it, and we actually helped the FBI take down the ring behind the malware. But there's thousands of malware products being released out there.
What's just picking one of your competitors, one of the more established companies, so like McAfee, like what would be the main difference between your product and McAfee on a Mac?
Gotcha. So our product uses low resources. We engineered it in mind so it's not bogging down the system. That's one of the key components to our software.
Any other questions?
Do you have a cost of user acquisition today?
The cost of our user acquisition is roughly $36 per seat.
How's the sale of MaxScan risen over the years?
When we launched in 2016, we had about $60,000 in sales. We sell a 1-year and 2-year subscription based on single user and a family pack. And that right there has been constant throughout the years. The last 2 years, we've seen a lull as we've been focusing our development on our next version.
Couple of questions. One, Apple has really stringent rules on what can be released on their App Store, and so far from my research, security products they don't really like, especially with networks and stuff like that. How are you planning on dealing with that?
So the way our software works and the resources that it's utilizing, we have the upper hand utilizing Apple's new endpoint security certificate, plugging into their APIs that they're allowing for it. So yes, you are right, they totally limit it, and that's why we haven't seen security products in the Mac App Store. But as the threats are increasing, Apple's rolling out new programs and new ways to allow people to plug into.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you guys.
All right, folks are hanging. This is awesome. Our math is only going to be a little bit off. We're going to get people out of here at some point. But first, we're going to have like Latin and Field Day. We've been waiting patiently. I like it when I announced that the hummus was there. Everyone got up and probably free, a lot of free.
All right. Cool. Thanks very much. My name is Eli Blackman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Field Day, where we are connecting companies and nonprofits leading to engaged employees, teams, and communities. Today's workplace is lacking in social connectedness. 74% of companies, as you know, are either hybrid or are planning to go permanently hybrid. This is causing employee engagement challenges. It is the number one issue facing leaders today. And employees are feeling isolated and disconnected. 65% of workers now feel less connected to their coworkers. And that same percentage is also sees virtual hangout as more of a chore than something they look forward to now. That low engagement leads to regretted attrition or voluntary turnover, which is costing U.S. companies $406 billion a year. Lack of belonging is cited by employees as one of the top reasons that they quit. But strengthening workplace community can be done through a few key facets. One is building camaraderie through shared experiences, prioritizing intentional breaks and renewal, and getting out in the communities together. And for those three reasons, that's why we're building Field Day. So we are reimagining workplace community by connecting employees through volunteering together with local nonprofits. Field Day as a platform helps leaders gain cultural insights while generating social impact data on behalf of the company. Volunteering in the community might be seen as almost the right thing to do, but there's, as we've heard a little bit about tonight, there's real business value in doing so. Companies that integrate community engagement or corporate social responsibility as the three-letter acronym that is associated with this, those companies see a 50% decrease in turnover. Companies recognize that this is good for their brand, and partnering with nonprofits enhances their brand and leverages their ability to improve the community around them. And this is a benefit that employees want. They want the opportunity to volunteer with their colleagues, and is a growing focus for the younger generation that's making up a larger percentage of the workforce. This is a large opportunity because of those disrupted workplace models. So retention is driven by that wellness and engagement. Corporate wellness as a overall top-down TAM, even though our community engagement program is a small portion of that TAM. That's a $109 billion market by 2030. Employee engagement as a TAM is a much better one-to-one fit for Field Day. That's a $3.8 billion TAM. And from a bottoms-up view, 25% of companies today offer volunteer time off as a benefit. It's a really nice proxy for companies that would be willing to invest in a platform like Field Day, based on a customer validated price point per employee.
As a product, what Field Day is it really focuses on the three key aspects of rolling out these programs. So one is the discovery, so discovering nonprofits and their volunteer events that you can participate in with your team. The second piece is the coordination, so streamlining the logistics around the event management, promoting it within your organization, managing signups, getting all the details you need, seeing who the points of contact are, calendar invites, Google Maps, all those pieces, seeing who's going. And then the data piece, the outcome that comes from participating in these really positive events. The tracking is what turns good ad hoc events into something that is actually programmatic, that you set goals around as a company, that you can get engagement insights, seeing who are repeat participants, who your top nonprofit partners are, the stories that you can leverage both internally and externally for your employer brand, employee recognition. That is a really important piece of what we're building in Field Day. Beta execution. So last year we ran a beta. A couple of the key pieces here. We ran it both company-wide with a few companies as well as teams within companies. So we have a model that works in both ways. We saw 100% repeat usage after the first event. Demonstrated willingness to pay. We have 7 paying customers that we've converted at this point. Really high NPS in terms of quality of experience, and organic nonprofit growth was something that we weren't sure was how much effort it would take to actually spin up the supply side of this sort of marketplace model. Good testimonials on both sides of the platform. Both sides are really important, as you might expect. Okay, sorry, I didn't have this. How we make money? Good question. Yeah, we got that. We are, we're an annual subscription for the company side of the platform, so it's free for the nonprofits. We're annual based. Basically, once you subscribe to Field Day, you can do as many events as you want. You're not paying to volunteer. You're paying to save the time on operating your program. So you have companies that are 200 people that are not going to have a corporate social responsibility team like Nike. They're able to operate a program with a portion of someone's time. And then for the bigger companies, it's less than scale their programming so that they are not centralizing all of that coordination.
Do you have any competitors?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. The cultural side, so a lot of these companies are focused on measuring employee engagement in terms of employee surveys, one-to-one coaching, a lot of stuff that is really taking a temperature on an employee, how they're doing. But that is very internal focused. It's not going to have reputational external impact, of course. But we are really at the intersection of culture, team building, and high reputational impact based on these activities that you're doing. These are more, Benevity and YourCause are more core competitors, and that like these are who we will be running into at the enterprise level. So their focus is mainly around financial processing. So employee match programs at Nike, corporate grants, that sort of thing, but they're not really leading with engagement at all. So a lot of folks at Nike don't know that they have that sort of platform. Engagement can be really low, and it really skews towards folks that are really only interested in giving money. We will be adding giving later on, but we're really starting with engagement because that's really the core issue that a lot of companies are facing.
Can you tell us more about the outcome data your software tracks and how it gets the data?
Yeah, so because what would be a good slide for that? I didn't get to go through the slide, so I'm putting it up here. No, there's a better slide for it. Because you're running all of your events across all your different nonprofits on Field Day, all the registrations are happening on Field Day. That is aggregating your overall number of volunteer hours. You're able to see repeat employees that are participating. So these are your ambassadors. These are the people that are going to be doing your basically passive recruiting for you. And then over time, you know, this is future looking. I'm not going to say we have like we're close to it, but integrations with HR systems would let us correlate employee tenure with those that are most active in these programs. And so you'd be able to kind of understand a health level of an employee in that way with this data point.
Thank you so much, Eli. Everyone.
I think Lomo would be a great future partner.
I know.
Maybe Harry's company, although we're not trying to sell the nonprofits.
Okay, remotely. I would just like to thank everyone for moving quickly and making that time. And we're actually going to be ahead of the math. I don't know how you divide math science, but you did. I promise I will do my closing remarks while Remotely Studio gets set up. Okay, here we go. This is still awesome, and it was awesome. So a round of applause again. All of these folks are being innovative and daring, and they're looking for investors. I think we heard a lot of that. Speaking of investors, OEN is raising a fund for this group. We're going to select a cohort. So if you're interested, you can talk to me. Loon Creek Capital will take $5,000 of your dollars and make it into a much bigger impact for one of these founders. Seriously, check in with me. Due diligence is fun. It's like running a marathon with your friends, which is awesome. All right, so we'll hear from our last founder, and then we will wrap this thing up.
Hello. Thank you. My name is Jeremy Berchter. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Remotely Studio. We are evolving post-production. What in the world is post-production? Anytime you watch a movie or a TV show, and that last frosting on the cake, making everything look and sound as amazing as it can be. But it also is incredibly expensive. On average, 20 to 30% of an overall film's budget. Why is it so expensive? Well, you have a lot of manual labor, really intense, complex processes done by these expensive technicians who are very specialized. Myself, I made a career as an expensive, ridiculous technician. And so as we've gone through this, we've kind of brought all of our expertise and knowledge into these manual processes. And I can tell you, no solution really exists yet. After 15 years in this industry, I won my first Emmy 2 years ago from Concert to the Super Bowl. And acted as Mark Zuckerberg's personal video editor. More stories about that later. And the problem that we always faced was there's nothing that is really built for these gigantic files. There's actually a producer, a friend of mine in town, and her job is to drive hard drives from producers to production companies. With that, not scalable, not secure, sometimes not reliable. There's a lack of just moving that much data that's really inherent to the industry. Another tragic story, producers decided to build a server in their studio, and it failed. They didn't hire an IT team. And so when that went down, what happened to their millions of dollars of client footage? Gone. So that's where we built Remotely Studio from the ground up for professional video production. Taking all these complex workflows and put them on the cloud so that the data is centralized. You can access it from anywhere. It's also secure. Back in the TPM Trusted Partner Network for studios, same standards that are used by Hollywood. But once we get all of those assets into the cloud, they're centralized, we can start to automate those crazy, laborious manual processes. Once you have those centralized, we can start to really boost the speed. These are benchmarks with our existing technology today. Take a look at Cloud Archival, 336 wonderful hours spent cloud archiving by hand. With Remotely Studio, that's down to 5 hours and 4 minutes. Or with the mastering process, this is my favorite one, 10 hours goes down in just 3 minutes on our platform. This is not only saving our clients a ton of time, saving them a ton of money. If you have a huge $100 million feature film, your typical processing would be about $5 million. With Remotely Studio, we can save you 85% of that with $750,000. We're not doing this for mom and pop shops. We've launched the beta program about a year old. We've done projects for HBO Studios, Amazon Studios, and currently in our studio right now, Paramount Pictures. So as we've been building this, we've realized there's a huge total available market of 65 billion, largely made up of the advertising industry. And we have 15 billion of that we can service today. If we capture 1.5% of that over the next 6 years, we're looking at north of 300 million in revenue. That's largely built up of our subscription fee, and our cloud storage, and those automated processes we were talking about. So we do have competitors, but none of them are focused on the entire enchilada of post-production. They've all gone after these small little subsets. Solving maybe storage, maybe MIO is just a review platform, but remotely we are focusing on all of that. We launched 2 years ago. We've been in development. We did 300,000 in revenue last year. My co-founder and I have spent 1.5 million of our own money invested into this, largely in infrastructure. And we are now in a seed round where we're raising 2 million. Excuse me. The 6 million cap and a 20% discount, and we've secured 860,000 of that already. So we're looking to close that last 1.1. That'll take us down to LA, which is the capital of production, where we'll be able to really establish and land and expand what Remotely Studio does. We have a team that's working 100% for equity. We all really believe in this. We want to see more creativity and less technical barriers in this industry. Notably, David Kress, famously the producer of Portlandia, also a producer for HBO and IFC, multi-Emmy award winner filmmaker. And when he saw this, immediately joined the team. He's helping us build this now. And says, clearly everyone in the industry sees where this is headed, onto the cloud, onto automated processes. So, with that being said, I really just appreciate your time and happy to answer your questions. And my co-founder in that there, Doris Snyder. All right.
I feel like you said everything.
I have a question, nothing to figure out where to go, but that Frame IO acquisition by Adobe, enormous, right?
Yes.
So are you seeing them are they still a competitor, or has their product roadmap drastically shifted to that acquisition?
That's a great question. So Frame.io acquired for around 2 billion by Adobe, and what we see is really not only software as a service, but we're also infrastructure as a service. So if you are a Frame client doing what's called camera to cloud, we can actually make that run faster. So Frame in a way is a competitor in that we have our own review platform that we're building. But if you wanted it to just process things faster, you could put the two together in a Frame Remotely Studio sandwich of sort. That would be super duper fast. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're doing a lot of it on it takes a lot of compute. So I saw like it takes 3 hours and then it takes 10 minutes. I'm like, wow, your service must be really expensive. Can you go into a little bit of talk on those?
Absolutely. So what we've built so far is the digital asset manager that we're releasing on the cloud version actually June 1st. So take down that URL because pretty soon we're going to have a product out in the world. But the server power and what we're doing, we're leveraging a couple of different partners. We're in the process with this, probably the next year raise of getting a private cloud and then automating further these processes to the effect that we have servers that are crunching this. We have processing centers instead of data centers. We don't want to be a storage company. We're largely kind of an automation and a tech software as a service platform. A lot of the server infrastructure, the cost of them so high, we've invested in that. We want to expand that even further, especially with the private cloud. That'd be a huge boost to us.
Great. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now we're officially done. Next steps, if you are an entrepreneur in this room, you pitch tonight, you will hear from me sometime in the next 24 hours. I get up really early, so if you have a 4 a.m. email, don't be surprised, that's normal. We'll let you know the next steps. Obviously, there are 14 of you, and we cannot take 14 companies into the diligence process, that is very long. And so, we'll give as best of feedback as we can, and remember, you're supposed to be resilient and take the feedback and move forward. But there are folks in this room that have heard your pitches, we're gonna send these out as recordings. You will meet folks, so continue being supportive of OEN, and as I said before, if you're interested in investing with us, it's a really fun process, and we make it as easy as possible. And then the finale of this event will be June 22nd at the Jupiter Next, and if you want to see how awesome a Angel Organ finale is, you can come to volunteer on next Wednesday and watch the bio finale, and you can learn all about things that you would never, ever want to do work on. Terrifying. All right, everybody have a great night. All right, thanks. We'll see you soon.